Hi guys. So lately I've been noticing a lot of clients that have 10-plus-year-old dreadlocks that have all of this loose hair around here, around this part of the hairline, and up back in the swirl area. I'm seeing lots of loose hair, broken dreads. Weak spots have happened where the dreads are coming off. All of a sudden I'm seeing this, and I don't know if it's a matter of summertime or what, but I do think that there are some factors that seem to be common, and I'd like to talk about them. And then I'm going to show you how to do extensions on this hair. So let's see, we're going to talk about this little list I made. So we have diet changes, people who have had lifestyle or diet changes, big moves, breakups, drugs, health issues, just poor diets in general. These people, when they go through these changes, the thickness of the hair at the root changes, and over time that creates a weak spot in the dreadlock if it's not properly maintained, and it can break in that area. Poor installation from the beginning. So I'm getting these new clients that have this issue that I did not install the dreads. Whoever did it maybe made too big of sections, and over time, especially with men, the hair starts to thin out, and then these big sections create a lot of tension that pulls the hair straight out of the root. Also, when people are installing dreadlocks and they're not considering the cowlicks in people's hair, and they're just creating a grid and they're not like thinking about that at all, that creates a problem in the future. So locticians, you need to pay attention to the growth pattern, the swirls, the wave pattern, everything about a person's head when you're laying out dreadlocks. When people pull their hair up too often, if their hair is up every single day, the tension, if it's the same way every single day, the tension that's being pulled here and here, a lot of guys will just have tons of hair out the back, and it's typically because they pull it up. Women tend to wear their hair down more, I'm noticing. Wearing baseball caps, anything that's going to put tension along that hairline and friction, we're getting problems with that. And then finally, the lack of maintenance. Either they haven't been to their loctician in over a year to work on the roots and make sure that everything is nice and solid. Once 10 years hits, your dreads weigh so much that the root really needs to be really solid to be able to carry the weight of the dread. And if it's not, it can start pulling the hair out. Also, I only maintain my hair once a year, so I'm not saying that people need to get maintenance once a month, but my at-home regimen is the reason that my dreads look the way that they do and they don't break off. And when I say look the way that they do, I mean that they're consistent from root to tip in terms of their density. So if you would like to know what I recommend for maintenance, after this video, I'm going to talk about that really briefly. So just stay tuned for that. Thanks. All right, so I have never done this client's hair before. His dreadlocks are over 10 years old. As you can see, tons of loose hair. He hasn't had maintenance in quite a while. His dreads are beautiful. The dreads themselves are super consistent and intact. They're great, but the amount of loose hair and the amount of breakage, and see all that hair around the hairline, needs to be handled. His dreads are long, and as you can see, they go from darker at the root and lighter at the ends. So I'm actually combining two colors that I had on hand to try and match his hair color. First, I'm making little tiny dreadlocks out of the hair at the top. Normally, I would say I'm going to make these little dreadlocks. You're going to go home, we're going to let them lock up, and then I'll attach the hair. But today we just went for it. So I'm attaching the hair to the little dreadlock that I made, and I attach with about 4 to 6 inches of length at the top. That way I can weave it through the existing dreadlock, and I can make sure it's anchored on. My dreadlocks that I extend this way, they don't come off. They stay for the life as long as you want to keep them. I know that some people will sell pre-made locks that have about maybe an inch or two of loose hair up at the top, and then people will crochet that into a dread. I'm not exactly sure how they're doing it, but I have seen that that doesn't tend to last as long. Here's the finished product. All I did was attach it and then I locked it up. And you can see the shorter ones are the ones that I made, and they blend right in with his other dreadlocks. And here was the before, in case you forgot, with all the loose hair. So that loose hair is what I locked up and attached to. And then in the back, this was what it looked like before. Nice and tidy now. Underneath, that was what it looked like, and now it looks like that. So hopefully he will keep up with some regular at-home maintenance. What I do, what I've always done, and what I recommend. So when I started doing dreadlocks, I started doing it from a logical standpoint of figuring it out on my own. And I created my own method, and it totally makes sense. But what I did for my own dreads, because I didn't have anybody here to work on them, to teach me nothing, was after I wash my hair, which washing amount is definitely more based on like your scalp type, your hair type, how quickly it absorbs the oil. Sometimes I would say anywhere from like 2 to 4 weeks is probably a happy medium. So washing the hair using the washing method that I recommended in my videos, that removes the skin and the buildup of environmental things and little flyaways, lint, etc. My washing method takes care of that, so that keeps the dreadlock really healthy and clean when you're cleaning it. And then after the shower, you're going to separate the hair and you're going to roll the hair to lengthen and remove bumps and remove water. And then after that, spraying the scalp with a moisturizer so that the body does not start overproducing moisture, because it gets stripped from washing, and it can cause the scalp to feel like, oh my God, you just took all my oil away, I need to make some more. And then boom, it goes straight into like oil production. If you put something moisturizing just on the scalp, not the hair, then the scalp is going to be satisfied and not have a tendency to do that quite as often. I then do not moisturize my scalp until I wash again, right? So I do that one time, and then I allow my body to pick up where that left off, and at a natural rate, it makes a consistent amount of oil until it's wash time again. And then whenever, all the time, I am feeling around at my roots, and whenever I feel a loose, straight root, I'm gonna start root rubbing, and that's gonna put that texture at the root. I have a video on how to do that. So that is something that I'm doing all the time. I'm doing it at stoplights, I'm doing it in the bathroom, I'm doing it when I'm standing in line, when I'm having conversations. It becomes a daily habit that I don't even think about, it just happens. And then last but not least, every night when you go to bed, you take your hair and you separate all of them. It takes about 20 seconds if you do it every single night, and it's just a way to like get everybody from when they start to try and combine with each other, that snaps them apart, and then you don't get a lot of tangling at the root, which over time causes a lot of matting, which then needs to be separated. And then when people start separating after a long time of not separating, they start to pull out big chunks of hair. When you pull out those big chunks of hair, then of course you are weakening the structural integrity of the root, right? So you don't want to be doing that quite as often. But if you're doing it on a daily basis and keeping them from connecting and locking, then you don't have to do that. It's just like really quick and easy. So that is it. So this has been a long video. If you stayed through the whole thing, thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm always here. Thanks. Bye.